Hello, everyone. Welcome back. Before we get started, if you enjoy our content, please leave a like and subscribe. It means the world to me and Edward. And now we'll jump into Edward's most dreaded video of the year, Fast and Furious 10. I watched every Fast and Furious movie within 2 weeks prior to this movie. I watched all 11 of them within the span of 14 days. And I gotta say, the series wasn't as bad as I initially thought it was going to be. However, Fast and Furious 10 was definitely worse than I thought any of these movies were going to be. I think this one is by far the worst one. I'll start by the couple of things that I did like before we get into our long list of things that we didn't. Some of the action sequences were pretty cool, albeit a little long. They're still pretty cool nonetheless. I think that's about all I liked. What about you, Edward?
I didn't like a single thing of this fucking movie. It was complete shit. Yeah, no, I can't believe I'm sitting here saying this, but this one's worse than 9. I don't know if I'll rate it the worst in the series. The entire series to me is shit, to be honest with you. The only one that I think is any good is probably 3, Tokyo Drift. I did what Griffin did, but much later on. At the beginning of the pandemic, my nephew Rocco, he was like, "Let's watch them all," which at the time there was only 8 of them, and I wanted to die. And then when Griff said, "Hey, it's tracking good numbers. Let's do it for the show," I was like, "Fuck my life! I can't believe this is happening." So I had to watch 8 and 9. This one is really, really bad. There's a couple of surprises in here. Not enough for me to like it. Not enough for me to like this movie. This movie's just it's bad. The disbelief in this movie. In the previous one, spoiler alert, they went to outer space. Here, there's some shit that Vin Diesel does. Unless at some point we all missed it and he got injected with a super soldier serum, I don't know how in the hell that's even possible.
Yeah, no, there's some very insane scenes, some of the most insane scenes in the series. Starting off with the villain, Jason Momoa was the best part about this movie, but it still wasn't enough to redeem it.
You guys remember that the Batman the animated series, not the beloved one from the 90s, but the other one, I think it came out like in 2004. There's a version of the Joker there. That's Jason Momoa.
Yeah, Jason Momoa is very much just acting like the Joker in this movie, and it's a bit over the top and too dark even for this franchise. There are some truly dark and disturbing moments, and I just don't think it was really necessary. It just needed to be toned down a bit.
If you guys are into just big ass explosions and unexplained physics and just loud noises and fights that make no damn sense and glass and shit flying all over the place, if that's what you guys are into, then you guys are going to hate my thoughts because then this is going to be like the number one movie of the year for you. But for me, and I like action movies a little bit more than Griffin does. But there has to be a reason as to why shit's just blowing up. Here, like literally every 7 minutes or so, some shit's blowing up uncontrollably. There's car chases, there's shit, flying all over the place. There's fights that begin and you're like, why are you guys fighting again? And then, it's just, it gets more ridiculous as the movie progresses. Grant you, no one goes to outer space in this movie. Even with that said, you're like, what the hell? And I'm sorry, Michelle Rodriguez fans, that chick is the most unattractive woman on the planet. She looks like a freaking dude. And even with good-looking women in this movie, like Jordana Brewster or Charlize Theron and Brie Larson, I just wanted to check out.
Yeah, there wasn't much redeeming about it, and even like with what Edward said, that's just kind of given with the Fast and Furious stuff. There's still just issues with this story because we know this story is going to develop into a trilogy, except instead of making it a trilogy, they just took one movie and cut it down into three pieces. This story just felt massively incomplete, and it didn't leave you with any sense of satisfaction or wondering what happens next when you leave the theater. It's just, why did I
Nope. I
come?
was
Why did
just I
I
was
why
just
did I
happy
be
it was
here?
over.
At least at the end of Infinity War, you want to know what happened next. Here it's just that happened. What's for dinner? There's nothing redeeming about that. Well, I guess one thing that Fast and Furious has started to do is it started to make fun of itself, which I did appreciate the couple of jokes they did for that. But other than that, it's this movie is four separate storylines crammed into one movie with none of them either like getting enough time or shouldn't have been shown. It's just all over the place. The acting wasn't great. Vin Diesel's old. He looks old and he feels old. Doesn't feel like the same Toretto that he has in the previous movies.
Buddy, if you're gonna do action movies, you gotta work out, man. Stay off the sodium.
Yeah, he's supposed to be about 40 years old. He looks upwards of 55 to 60. It's pretty ridiculous. He does not show the commitment for this role that a lot of the other stars have. I don't think the future, if this series continues, because very may well do, it shouldn't be with Vin Diesel. He needs to stop.
Yeah, this started off with just, two guys and a crew that were racing cars. And that was an okay and entertaining movie. Then the second one, they went off into like a mission, and Tokyo Drift was, for better or for worse, it was just a fun movie, good cast. And then it just went crazy. I do enjoy 5 and 6, but now it's just by 1 to 10. Unfortunately, like I told Griffin, it's probably going to be 11, 12, and maybe 13, and then spin off into, his kids' future Fast and the Furious franchise. And we'll be here talking about it. So this shit is definitely going on my worst movies of the year list. Definitely. I won't sit here and say that I'll rather watch this than Knights of the Zodiac. I don't ever want to watch these two again. I probably will.
One thing I did forget to mention real quick is one thing I don't like that movie franchises do, especially as they get on longer and longer, is that they change things from their past movies and flashbacks by adding a character or something that wasn't there. Like they did that with Han's death 3 times. They do it for this movie, and it just was incredibly lazy. They could have introduced the characters in a different way, but just this movie just it is the definition of a cash grab. Lazy story development, lazy plot. There's nothing here.
Look, it's got its fan base, and there's a ton of people that love it. And guys in the comments, if or our audience members, if you guys love this, just remember this is just our opinion. If you do love this, I apologize. It's not for me. This movie was shit. I would rather go watch She-Hulk
I'd rather
all
watch
over
Knights of the
again.
Zodiac.
No, I wouldn't do that to myself. She-Hulk, 100%.
It's shorter.
Probably fucking Muppet Babies.
Thank you guys for watching. Leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Let us know what you thought about this movie in the comments. We'll see you guys next time.
It's fucking bad.